Hello, I'm Leanna Knight, the Executive Director of the Rail Yard Society here in downtown Quakertown, and welcome to our very first podcast. Tonight we're starting off big with a Rail Yard Society board member, owner of Dominic's Pizza, the Wooden Match, real estate developer, and most importantly, Quakertown native, Vince Randazzo. Welcome, Vince. Thank you for joining us, Vince. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us on our very first podcast. Can you believe it?
Yeah, actually excited to be here. I appreciate you letting me do your first podcast. It's exciting. I know we have a lot to share, and I'm looking forward to it.
Is this your first podcast?
I think I've done a couple other podcasts, but featured just on me, it is my first. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start off with a big one. Tell us some of the projects you did around downtown Quakertown and Quakertown itself, and that you renovated an older building and gave it a new use and a new life.
Well, I was in Quakertown all my life. I love Quakertown. I grew up in Quakertown. I take pride in saying Quakertown is my home town. And I like the historic parts of it. I guess my first building that I renovated was Apple Street. It was an old garage that I made into an office building, and then years later I made it into an apartment building. But initially it was a dilapidated garage that really you wouldn't even notice it if you go by for years. My second one was Franklin Street, the schoolhouse, 307 Franklin. It was, I believe it was a 12 classroom schoolhouse. We took the facade out, everything, and we showed the stone that said Franklin Schoolhouse. So that was interesting.
It's a pretty cool building. I've seen it.
It is, and that took a little bit of work to get done, But and then there's a couple other ones. I think another one was the Carlton building, the old Carlton Theater. I remember going to that. I'm like, geez, I'm gonna need some financial help to get in this because obviously the theater was sloped. So it did need a lot of work. I got some tax credits for that to help me do the renovations. A lot of these buildings people can't afford to do it, so they just stay in disarray. And over the years they get weathered and they get beat up, and it's unfortunate. These beautiful buildings, the sculpture, the stone that's been done, it gets beat up and worn, and it stinks that people can't afford to do it. Unfortunately.
And that's also another beautiful building, some of which we're in right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're in the Carlton Theater actually. This was the conference room that we're in. But yeah, this is a beautiful. And I tended to keep some of the old theater, the ceilings, the fans, and some of the old picture frames that the theaters were playing plays at. I kept. So just to bring the nostalgic of the theater.
It definitely has that feel here, and there's some neat stuff downstairs in the lobby as well. All right, so what was your favorite project out of all your projects that you did?
I gotta say the Carlton Theater, my originally first big building, bringing the canopy outside back in the day. I think this is the Carlton Theater. It is my home. It's my office. So it is my best project. I'm looking forward to doing more projects, but yeah, I gotta say the Carlton is definitely my one.
I'd say it's one of my favorites too, of all the ones I've been in so far. So what made you want to just join us with the Rail Yard Society?
I like buildings. I like structure. I like the old school design. It intrigues me. I have the Wooden Match up in Bethlehem. We just renovated that. I just renovated the roof. It took about 8 months. Renovated the roof, the Wooden Match. The woodwork outside brought everything back to original. It looks beautiful. Did the same thing with the Freight House in Bethlehem. We redid the roof, some of the woodwork, and it's just from where it was dilapidated 20 years ago to now. It's just beautiful, bringing the nostalgic back of the woodwork. And that's one of the reasons why I want to join Railroad Society. I just love it. I want to be able to fix it, join the organization, and just make the railroad bigger, better.
Well, let's talk about our favorite project that we have going on right now, which is the Freight House, which is in an interesting situation. It's an interesting, it definitely needs help, and that's what we're trying to do. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is a big project. I guess it's been like that or getting worse for over 50 years, unfortunately. And it's not going to get any better. And it's hard for any organization or an individual to take that project on because you can't own the ground. SEPTA owns the ground. So unfortunately, you're no individual want to put that kind of money into a project, and you won't foresee the money in return. It doesn't just make sense. So doing this railroad society, a nonprofit, hopefully we can get some more grants and loans, to help, save the Freight House in Quakertown, so everyone can enjoy it.
Right, and it's definitely needed, and it's needed in a pretty timely manner at this point. So what can people do if they want to help out?
We're looking for any kind of donations to help, structure the building. It does need a lot of work. We're trying to bring it back to its original state, so that's costly. So if we can get some donations to help fund the organization, we'd love to make it an event space for everyone to be joining, to have their events there, things like that.
Awesome. Do we want to tell anybody about when we might start building? Do we want to share anything?
Well, I think it's safe to say by June we'll be starting construction. Let's just say it that way. By June, I think we should be starting construction.
I'll let you do the talking on that one.
Yeah, so I guess the first stage would be, securing the ceiling, the roof, the sides, the walls, making it structurally so no one gets hurt. So phase one will be that part of the outside. Hopefully starting June. I can't give a date, but looks like June we're going to be starting. Fortunately, we've been talking about this for almost a couple of years now.
A lot of years. The Rail Yard Society was actually formed in 2019.
And that's the funny thing. People don't see the work behind the scenes. They're coming towards the final line, and they're like, "Well, it's easy." No, it's not easy.
It is not easy.
Leanna, you can see, just joined us, and Chris and I and other people before that have been working on this. Prior to this,
the borough has been working on it for the better part of probably 12 years. Yeah. Again, the big deal has been the ownership with SEPTA not willing to sell it.
Correct. Yeah.
So, that's really what's exciting.
I think it's a great for the community. Absolutely, being an event center, and just it's as you're driving down Front Street, you'll see the train station is beautiful, and then next to it, it's a dilapidated building. It's going to bring life to downtown part again, and that's the exciting part.
That's what I'm most excited about. Yeah. I'm pretty excited about downtown Quakertown again. I'm a Quakertown native as well, so just to see that one section of town and be able to make a difference in it, I think is for me, and I'm sure for you.
Yeah, 100%.
The really important thing. If anybody is interested in donating or learning more about our cause, you will see the Rail Yard Society's website come up at the end of our podcast. So Vince, tell us what the goal is for downtown Quakertown for this freight yard that we're going to really work on.
At the end of the day is to get this freight house up and running and make it look beautiful. No single individual can afford to put that much money into a single project and not own the brick and mortar, unfortunately, and that's why it's been like that for 50 years. The goal is to restore it, bring jobs back downtown, increase tourism downtown, and I guess the last thing is to make it safer, make that part lit up and safer for downtown. I think that's the last key element of downtown that needs it, the last part of Front Street that needs, lit up.
I think that's a good idea. I think all those things are important.
And we kind of need help from the community. We're going to be doing some fundraisers. If we can get some donations to help this, it's not directly going to, the Railroad Society. It's going into the building to make it beautiful, to make it structurally what it was again. No one's had the opportunity, or no one's willing to take it last 50 years to make it beautiful again. We're here at Railroad Society. Chris and I are here to make it what it is back like it was back in the days.
That's the number one thing I've gotten when I've told people about this new job I'm doing is, oh my God, that building's awful.
Yeah.
I'm so glad somebody's doing something with that building. Absolutely. And I don't think that the general public truly understands the shape that building is in.
Oh, it's really unsafe. We were there
Tuesday.
On Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday we were there, and Chris was like, "Oh, walk to the side," and we all walked to the side because it was unsafe. It is unsafe, and that's our first phase is to make it structurally well. Hopefully we can have events there, community events, to make it better. To do stuff on Saturdays, like part of Quakertown Live. Fundraisers, Christmas, go through there, maybe have Santa Claus in there, have the kids in there, so it's a little bit bigger space. Right now Santa Claus goes to the Carlton in the foyer, then they had the I guess the shed outside, but a little shed. Imagine having Santa Claus, at the Freight House, that big space, and going in there. That'd be great,
I'm imagining a really nice farmer's market with all local vendors on a Sunday morning.
That'd be
I think
fantastic.
it would be great.
There's plenty of parking now. It's not going to intervene. None of the other shops downtown. There's parking there. That'd be excellent. Perfect.
Speaking of which, what are we going to do with the parking lot down there? Is it going to stay gravel?
So no, the borough's. I think the borough and Chris and I think we agree that we're going to blacktop it. And it is going to be metered, unfortunately. Part of it is going to be metered, so for half of it's for the community and half is for the Freight House. For the events, for the event center.
And I think that's fair because there are people that live down there and that would want to use it.
Absolutely.
Another thing I would just want to throw out there is if you've ever seen it, and if you didn't see it, you might not, and you probably drove by it a million times, is there's a crane out front just to the end of our building. And the guys from the train station have told me that that's one of two in the country.
Really?
So we are working with them to renovate it. So there's one in Boyertown. If anyone's seen the one in Boyertown, we're hoping it'll look like that. It actually has Boyertown on the mast, so I'm really hoping that we'll be able to do that. It's a hand crank.
See, stuff like that is exciting to bring back to Quakertown. I mean, it makes me excited. I got goosebumps just thinking about it. That's exciting.
Yeah, again, just like Vince, I grew up running the streets of Quakertown. Not like a thug, but in a good way. But I was in around all this stuff. I remember that when the park didn't have the stadium was
I remember
it was all boarded up. It wasn't like a real thing. So I'm really excited. Something I did want to mention to everybody is this is going to be an ongoing series, and we're looking for people that are interested in trains, Quakertown history. That type of thing. Reach out because we're hoping to have on a descendant of the guy and his company that built the building. We're going to have some other people that have renovated some really important buildings in Quakertown. So we're looking forward to making this probably a weekly event. If anybody has any ideas, more importantly, if anybody wants to sponsor our little podcast here, we're open to opportunities. But I just wanted to say thank you, Vince, and I really appreciate you being here on our first time.
My pleasure. I look forward to what the future has for Railroad Society.
Me too.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Vince.
you. Thanks again.